So I thought that we'd start outside today because my saskatoons are ready to be picked, and if we're going to be getting them ready to freeze anyway, we might as well do a day of filling my freezer with snacks. So join me. We're going to start with our saskatoons. We're going to move on to some rhubarb. We're going to be doing some things in the kitchen and some things outside. I think it's going to be a great day. So I'll show you what a saskatoon is. Let's go the other way. There we go, maybe.
It just shows them from the pail.
So saskatoons grow in the prairies, like in Canada, in Alberta, in Manitoba, in Saskatchewan. There's actually a town in Saskatchewan that is named Saskatoon, and I assume that it is named after the berry. So this is our saskatoon bush. It is pretty prolific. We've tried to grow saskatoons 6 different times, and this is the only one that took. We've had different types of trees and bushes, and none of them were willing to cooperate but this one. So we have lots though. I'll just turn this around and show you. So they grow in clumps, as you can see. And the other thing is this particular tree is very tall, so we're gonna need some help getting those ones at the very tippy top. We might need to get a ladder, or at the very least a stool. One of my daughters is helping me pick today, and she is a lot taller than I am, so she's going to be able to get ones a lot higher than I am. We also have another little helper with us, but she is more of a hindrance than a helper. As you can see, she absolutely loves playing with the saskatoon tree, but I wouldn't say that she's helping us fill our buckets. It actually takes a fair bit of effort to pick enough of these berries, but they are so worth it. Whoa! Can you zoom in on that? Look! It's a grasshopper. It's so cute. We had one on the little baby's hand the other day. Okay, little grasshopper, I have to move you. Oh, he doesn't want to move. I'll just go somewhere else. This is the fun part. Yeah! We're back inside in the kitchen. There's so much that I want to get done today, but I'm super excited. The last time that I filled my freezer with snacks was at least a month ago, and they have dwindled down to basically nothing. I love having like quick grab and go things in there, and of course the kids love it too. We have such an ambitious list today. We'll see how much we can get done, but I'm so excited because we're gonna try some new things. The first thing that I did is last night I washed some grapes to get ready for today and put those in the freezer, just separated them, put them in a single layer on my cookie sheet. And now we're gonna grab them out of the freezer and then we're gonna put them into bags. Because they were wet when they went onto the cookie sheet, I find that they sometimes stick, so sometimes I need something to help me get them off. Ooh, but today they're coming off beautifully. I wouldn't have even needed this. I'm just using a quart size freezer bag because it's not a huge amount of grapes, and I think it's all gonna fit. We might be cutting it close here. Haha, they do not fit. All right. I guess we're gonna have to use a second bag. We're gonna get as much air as we can out of the bag. Now, for frozen grapes or anything else that you're gonna be taking out 1 or 2 or 10 at a time, you wanna teach your family members, especially your kids, to get the air out of the bag before they seal it back up. Because if they go in the freezer and grab some out, which, you know, my kids know fruits and vegetables are like free reign, go take as many as you want. But they know to seal the bag back up and get as much air as they can out of it, because otherwise you're going to end up with freezer burn and things don't last nearly as long. grapes are a great snack idea. There's two things to keep in mind. One, they don't taste good after they've been thawed because they will get mushy. So these do need to be eaten frozen. And two is they are a choking hazard for little ones. So these are only for older kids and adults. I'm gonna throw these back in the freezer. And while I'm over there, I'm gonna grab out a smoothie bag because I have a plan with that smoothie bag. Hold on. We are gonna make homemade popsicles. I haven't done this in years, but they're gonna be awesome. They're a great healthy snack. Kids think that they're getting such a huge treat, which they are, but they're full of healthy goodness. And for this, I just use smoothie bags from my freezer, so kind of like doubling up here on the freezer snacks. This one looks like it has mango, blueberry, spinach, strawberries, and we're gonna add a little bit of juice into our blender. Now I'm not sure how much this is gonna make because smoothie bags is not how I used to do my homemade popsicles. So we're just gonna experiment, and I have a lot of smoothie bags in the freezer, so we can always grab more if we need them. If you wanted to, you could use yogurt in place of the juice in here, and you can use any kind of juice that you want. I'm gonna add a tiny bit more juice just to get it a little bit, just have a little bit of a thinner consistency. The thing that's great about homemade fruit and vegetable popsicles is that they're a great way to get those fruits and vegetables into your kids. I mean, they're not gonna know that they're eating spinach here, which is pretty awesome. We're just gonna pour them into our popsicle molds and then replace the lid and freeze them. If you want them to be a little bit more stable in your freezer, you can put these mold trays onto a cookie sheet. I'm definitely gonna need more smoothie bags to fill these molds, and when I do it next time, I am gonna do it a little bit thinner, so adding more juice. This is trial and error. You're here with me for the journey. The last one wasn't enough to fill the entire popsicle mold, so I've just put what I can in there, and then this little single popsicle here is actually gonna have a cool like two-tone effect when we add the other mixture in there. I'm just gonna give this a rinse and grab another smoothie bag, and we will keep going. I just grabbed what was on top. This one looks like pineapple, mango, peach, and spinach. I had some other ones in there that had banana as well, but I'm allergic to banana, so I try to avoid touching it if I can. This time, like I said, I'm going to add quite a bit more juice, and we'll see if that gets more of the consistency that I'm looking for. I'll pop a video right up there to where we made these smoothie bags in the first place, because now that you've kind of seen them in action, you might want to make some for yourself. They are awesome to have for really fast snacks or breakfasts. Only I could do this. I'm sitting here and I'm like, why is nothing happening? Like, even, like, I know it's frozen, but it doesn't seem to be going anywhere. But that's because I forgot to put the thingy. I don't know the technical term for this, but whatever this thing is, I forgot to put it in the blender. So, of course, nothing is happening. We're gonna have to try to put this down in here with things in it already. Do not try this at home. I don't know what I'm doing here. Yeah. Okay. I was seriously like, this isn't working. I don't understand. The other bag worked so well. Oh my goodness. I need caffeine. We're gonna get right on that issue as soon as I'm done this. blendery part in there, and it actually blends. All right, we're gonna fill the other ones. The color of this one reminds me of either a Dole Whip or Orange Julius. Does anyone remember Orange Julius? It was this store that was in malls, and it was like before Booster Juice and all the big smoothie, Juggo Juice and the big smoothie companies, like well before. And they would make like an orange juice based kind of smoothie, I guess. And they were quite expensive, if I remember correctly. So my mom would make homemade ones, and once in a while she would let me stay up late, just her and we would eat popcorn. Now my mom was really health conscious, so it was popcorn without butter and without salt. So not that tasty, but it felt like a treat. And she would make these homemade Orange Juliuses, and her and I would stay up and watch The Love Boat. Do you remember The Love Boat? It's a long time ago, but I have really fond memories of being in my living room and having these special nights with my mom. Now, I don't know how often they happened. To me, it feels like they were a regular thing, but it might just be because it happened, twice or something, and I have such a fond memory of it. Okay, one thing that I forgot to mention is when you make these, you're gonna get little air pockets, and that will wreck your popsicles. So you want to take them afterwards before you freeze them, and you might have noticed me doing that while I was blending this one, just knocking it on the counter for the other one. And that way you're going to get rid of those air pockets and make a lovely little popsicle. The consistency of this one with more juice is much more conducive to filling the molds, and I think it's gonna make a better popsicle experience. We've got our cool two-toned one there. I do have some left over, probably not enough to fill an entire other popsicle mold, so I'm going to give it to my husband as a smoothie. I know that he will appreciate that because he just got back from a workout. And then we're gonna move on. The last time that I did one of these snack videos, we went into my garden and gathered some rhubarb and made some rhubarb cookies and rhubarb cake. Both of them were new recipes to me. I've got a really good rhubarb muffin recipe, but I hadn't made the cookies and cake before. They were both amazing, like make again for sure. But one of the things that we had done with the rhubarb cookies is we had baked some up that day, and then I had frozen some. And when you have your cookie dough balls and you lay them flat on a cookie sheet and freeze them, then you're able to transfer them into a freezer bag and you can bake them up fresh whenever you want. Now, since then, we had this massive heat wave, and I wasn't able to turn my oven on because we don't have air conditioning. So today is a day that finally things have settled. It's been actually almost a week now where the weather is like a normal temperature, and so I'm able to cook those up. It's only about like a tray and a half worth of the balls, but we're gonna get those cooked up so that they can be eaten. Then we'll have that snack ready to go. If there's time, I am gonna make some more rhubarb, either cookies, cake, or muffins today. We'll see, stay tuned. But we are gonna go get it chopped and into the freezer. What I do is chop it and then divide it into 2 cups. Put 2 cups per quart size bag, get the air out and freeze it. It lasts so long in the freezer, and it's really nice to have in the middle of winter. So we're gonna get that done because I don't want the rhubarb crop. I know it's really a weed, but anyway, I don't want that to go to waste. I rinsed the saskatoons and then I let them soak for a while. And after they had soaked, just so that, you know, any bugs or anything that are in there are easier to find, then I rinsed them again and transferred them onto this baking sheet in a single layer. I actually have enough for a few baking sheets. And when my sons get home later, they're taller. And I'm gonna see if they can help get some of the ones that are higher up Hopefully we will end up with many baking sheets. So I'm gonna put this in the freezer. Once it's frozen, I'm gonna get it off. Similar to the grapes, sometimes you need a little bit of a scraping tool or spatula to help you get them off of there if, because of the moisture, they stick to the sheet. But it's not a big deal at all. Then you transfer them into a freezer bag. Of course, get your air out and then get them back into your freezer. Before I start making this next thing, I need to grab myself some caffeine. I'm telling you guys about this new tea that I've been using. There's this adorable tea shop in a place called Invermere, BC. And no, I'm not being sponsored by them, but if you ever are in Invermere, check them out. It's just on Main Street, tea, etc. And I've been using their teas for a while. There's one called Earl Grey Pass that is one of my favorites, but this last time that I was there, I grabbed some new ones to try out, and there's one called Valley Fog, and it's made with some local flowers and things like that that are found in that valley. And then there's a Scottish breakfast one, which is probably just like a Scottish breakfast one. So I'm gonna grab one of those, and then when I'm properly caffeinated and not trying to blend smoothies without putting the blender together, then we can get on to our next recipe. The next thing we're gonna make is our corn dog mini muffins. It has been ages since I made this recipe, and one of the reasons is because it makes 10 dozen mini muffins. That means you are baking these for a long time. And I only had one mini muffin tray. So even though it makes, I think like 24 or something, I still was finding myself like avoiding this recipe, even though I cannot keep this stocked. My kids love this so much. This is like great for school lunches, great for after school snacks. This is just a great grab and go. But my viewer, Carrie, who is also a Freeze Meals 101 Club member, she sent me this. This is the most adorable mini muffin silicone pan, and I have yet to use it. But today is the day. This is the inaugural sale of the confetti mini muffin tray. And we are gonna use it to do corn dog mini muffins, which, like I said, I always avoid because they make so many, but it's also great that they make so many. And today, being a day that I can turn my oven on, is the perfect day to launch this project. So we're gonna get to making the batter. We're gonna get these into the oven because our rhubarb cookies are done. And then while these are baking, we've got even more snack recipes that we're gonna do. If you wanna make these corn dog mini muffins, you can find the recipe in the description below. In a large bowl, we're going to mix together with an electric beater some sugar and softened butter. Then we're gonna add 8 eggs, some honey, and milk. We're gonna mix that all together. Then in another bowl, we're gonna combine some flour, baking powder, cornmeal, and salt. We're gonna stir that with a spoon, and then we're gonna add those dry ingredients into our wet ingredients, and we're gonna keep using our electric beater to combine this really well. We're gonna grease our mini muffin trays, and then we're gonna spoon some batter to fill about half of each of the little cups. Then we're gonna take our hot dogs that we had sliced into chunks, and we're gonna add 1 hot dog chunk into each mini muffin cup and press that down into the batter. We're gonna bake these. They bake for 10 minutes, which is nice because they're done fairly quickly. And once they've cooled, we're gonna transfer them into a large resealable bag. And of course, get as much air as we can out of there, seal it, and freeze it. These are great for grabbing out as little or as many as you need. And really, it's the honey in here that gives them their amazing flavor. I always make a few without the hot dogs because I don't eat hot dogs, and I love these corn dog muffins so much that I like to get to taste a few myself. I don't think I have any hope of getting my plans done for today unless I enlist some help. So I'm gonna have my daughter help me get the corn dog muffins done. I've got 2 trays in the oven right now, but that means we've got at least another 6 dozen to get going, and I want to start on some other things because there's a few things that are like must-haves today. I have some like want to make things that if we have time we'll do, but I still have a few things on my must-do list. And that is, I want to get some zucchini loaves in the freezer. My husband's going away for 9 days and I want to be able to have some really easy grab and go breakfasts. So I'm hoping to get waffles done. Those are really fast. You just put in the toaster for myself and eat them almost on the run. But zucchini loaf is a must because that is something I can literally eat on the go, like in the vehicle or on my way out the door. I slice it first so that I can just take out one slice at a time. So that's like a must do today. Then the waffles are like a want to do. Because it's zucchini season and they're abundant, I would love to get some zucchini muffins done as well, but I'm not sure about that. And then I'd really like to do some things with that rhubarb. But again, we are gonna run out of time at some point, and there's only so many things you can make in your oven at one time, and a lot of these are for the oven. But before we do that, I do wanna get another snack for kids done, and that's gonna be a really, really simple one that's super fast. So I'll show you what we're gonna do. What we're gonna be making is some frozen yogurt fruit snacks. There's so many ways to make frozen yogurt and all really, really easy. You can take those yogurt tubes that are already in tubes and you can just throw them in your freezer, and then kids can eat them like they would eat a Freezy and just squeeze it up as they go. That's a super, super easy way. And if you want, you can make homemade yogurt, and you can buy tubes that are like Freezies on Amazon, and you can fill them with your homemade yogurt and freeze those. You can also take little silicone molds and just put yogurt in it. I've got this Lego mold, I'll show you, and I like to make the little Lego head with like a peach or lemon yogurt so that it's the right color, and then the body with like a strawberry or something so that it's a different color, a bit of a contrast. I get those frozen and then I pop them out and put them into freezer bags. They're really cute, and little kids think they're candy, which is great because they're healthy. Today we're gonna make something really easy that is just, we're gonna take some washed and dried blueberries and we're gonna coat them in some Greek yogurt and lay them out on some parchment paper to freeze. Now, another similar thing that I've done before is to put a whole layer of yogurt on parchment paper and then put some strawberry slices, blueberries, and sliced blackberries or halved blackberries in there and press it down. And then you get that in your freezer. When it's fully frozen, you can break it apart and then freeze that in bags. And that's a really, really nice one too. Actually, now that I've been talking about that, I realize that strawberries would be really, really good in this. And I have some growing, so let's do a few strawberries that are covered in yogurt, and just to change it up a little. So come outside with me, we'll grab some strawberries, rinse them, dry them, and then we can make a few with those as well. So now we have our strawberries, our blueberries, our yogurt, and the corn dog muffins are ready. See how cute these are? Like, there are hardly any kids on the planet. I'm not gonna say no kids on the planet, because lots of kids are gluten-free or have allergies or are just different kinds of picky, but there are hardly any kids that would not be willing to eat a corn dog mini muffin. They're adorable. They involve hot dogs, and they've got the sweetness from the honey. So we'll get these cooling, and once they're fully cooled, we can transfer them into our freezer bags. Oh my word. The ones on the silicone tray look even better. They cooked up a little bit nicer, puffed up a little more. I don't know if it's just because of the silicone. I've never used silicone trays before, but they also look really fun because of the confetti tray. Oh, even more adorable. And it's 1 o'clock, so I'm starting to get hungry. I might help myself to those ones that I made without the hot dogs. All right, so there's a few ways you can do this. You can roll them on the tray. You can put a dab of yogurt down and then add a blueberry and just sort of roll it around in there. Or you can top it with a bit of yogurt. Another way that you can do yogurt for the freezer that kids love, and it's super easy, is you can add some yogurt to a piping bag or just a sandwich bag, and then snip the end off of it if it's a sandwich bag. And then you can pipe your yogurt down in tiny little dots. They end up being like those, you know, the ice cream dots that you can buy in the store and eat? They end up being like that and just as much fun. And yeah, that's another way that you can make frozen yogurt extra fun. And just, if you have kids that are a little bit reluctant to eat yogurt, just the small change of freezing it can be all that they need to give it a try, and then they might discover that they love it. I'm apparently not very talented at this because mine are like not dots, they're giant clumps and they're a little ugly, but I know that in theory this should work. I just haven't quite got the right system yet. Maybe I should be like dropping the blueberries into the yogurt and then taking them out. I don't know, we'll try that. I don't know if that's any better. Maybe, actually that's better. All right, we have a better system going. Ooh, that one was actually really nice. I'll get the hang of it. Practice makes progress and all of that. All right. Okay, now that I have a system, I'll try a strawberry. Not bad. For the zucchini loaves, I freeze my zucchini in, like I grate it and freeze it in 2-cup bags. And freeze it in the medium quart-size freezer bags. So we're gonna use this for our zucchini bread. I am doubling this recipe. It'll be in the description down below. It's a really, really good zucchini bread. So you're gonna combine your flour, cinnamon, baking soda, baking powder, nutmeg in a bowl. Then you're gonna combine your wet ingredients, which is your sugar, your grated zucchini, vegetable oil, eggs, or egg if you're just making one loaf, and some lemon juice. Then you're gonna mix those together and pour them into your loaf pans. All right, I'm going to get these in the oven. Before I do have to tell you, these, the non-hot dog ones, like the batter, they're as good as I remember. I don't know if it's the healthiest lunch, but I've been snacking on these and the strawberries and the blueberries, and I'm gonna call it lunch. It's all good, I'm fully caffeinated and getting fed, so we can power through and keep going. If you've ever watched one of our videos where we make freezer meal dinners, then you'll know that we don't use a lot of dishes. We usually make things right in the bag and mix them right in the bag. A lot of times we don't cook things up until the day that we're actually eating them. So when you're doing freezer snacks, some of the lunches, and breakfast, a lot of time there's more work on the front end, but then everything is cooked and all you're doing is reheating or just eating on the day that you go to eat it. So on a day like today, where you're filling your freezer with snacks, breakfast, those kind of grab and go things, you are gonna be doing more cooking, more baking, and you're going to be going through a lot more dishes. So my recommendation is that you clean as you go, otherwise it can be pretty overwhelming at the end. That also helps you decide if you want to keep going, because if you leave the cleanup till the end, you might feel like you've got a lot of energy, and then at the end, when you've made like 3 more things, you realize, actually, I was done one thing ago, plus now I have all these dishes to do. So I've been cleaning as I go. I've got the dishwasher running. It's got 20 minutes left, and then I will take a break from cooking, empty it, and get it reloaded so that it doesn't become overwhelming. I also have a helper today in the kitchen with me, which is awesome. That is one of my daughters, my middle daughter actually, and she is awesome at culinary. So I have decided to go ahead and make the buttermilk waffles. I'll be really glad that I did. And the zucchini loaves have to be in the oven for an hour. So, I mean, what better to do with my hour than be standing there with the waffle iron? Okay, let's start making our batter. Also, I have so many of the ingredients out already that I figure like it's gonna be fast to make it, because I've got the flour out, I've got the eggs out, I've got the baking soda, like all the well, almost all the things, and I do have buttermilk in my fridge. So we are gonna get this done, and I've got a few other things that are kind of on the maybe list. We'll see if we get there, but I'm really happy with what we've gotten done so far. You know how I say that Christie and I are actually friends? Well, she came over to borrow some taco seasoning, just like we say she does.
That's really true. I'm on vacation, and my kids are at home, and they're starving because it's summer. And I'm like, oh, you know that Plenty for 20 we talk about sometimes? This is so funny. I'm like on vacation when I'm in the video, right into it. And so I got 2 things of the ground pork and ground beef mixed together. I got 2 packages of pork loin chops, and then 4 Did you know that you could buy multiples of the Plenty for 20?
Yes.
I didn't. I've never bought it because you always buy it.
Yeah.
It's so funny. She does my grocery shopping for me.
That's hilarious.
No, I bought this.
Yes, you did.
I'm the director of spice management. I bought this. And so anyway, so those are the things that I bought. I bought 4 of the bone-in skin-on chicken breasts, and I think I'm gonna make some of those Italian chicken breast. Do you have is that what you have out over there? I can see it.
No, I have chicken tagine out for dinner. It's gonna be so good. I love that it has the vegetables.
Oh, it's so good.
And I'm just gonna do some like wild mushroom rice with it. Oh, so nice not to have to worry about what's for dinner.
It is, because
it's done.
It's done. So I think I'm gonna make the easy Italian. Mm-hmm. And I got the giant blueberries like you did.
They were on such a good sale.
So it's the season. We'll never see this again for the rest of the year. So
yeah, it's very true. I did yogurt covered blueberries as a snack with frozen ones, but they're not pretty. Like it took me a while to get the knack. Yeah, like when they do them in the factory, they have a setting, or it goes through a certain dryer that just does it. You know what I mean? There has to be a way. Some sort of engineered way. But anyway. Well, enjoy your taco seasoning. Finish my quesadillas. And you look lovely and relaxed. So. Thank you. I slept until 9 today. Oh, I'm jealous. And my husband's going to buy a rooftop tent. Mm. And so we're going to my friend's on the weekend, the one whose husband passed away. Yeah. And so we get to, it's finally her housewarming. Her brother is visiting from China. Anyway, it's good. It's good. I'm looking forward to it. And then we have a friend's 70th birthday party. So you are jam-packed. I'm jam-packed, plus we're finishing our deck. It's crazy. And it's beautiful. I'll send you pictures when we're done. I'll post pictures. It's huge, and Christie's designing little areas for it, and it's beautiful. Maybe it'll be done by the time this video goes up, and I can show you finished pictures, or maybe work in progress. We'll see. It definitely will, because I'm a slow editor. It could happen. I'm a slow painter. It's too hot for me to stain today, so we'll see. Okay, bye. Bye. You just never know who's gonna show up. Actually, there's only a handful of people, and you guys know Christie already, so there was a pretty good chance that she was gonna show up. because we are neighbors. Christie lives 2 doors down, and like she said, we kind of share kitchen supplies and ingredients, and our kids kind of wander back and forth between the 2 houses because they're friends, and you know, the best kind of neighbors. Normally when I do the buttermilk waffles, I triple or quadruple the recipe because we do have a fairly supersized family and these go really quickly. But today I do want to end at some point. And so it does take a while to actually, you know, do them through the waffle maker. And the thing that actually takes longer is, hold on one second. My whisk. The thing that takes longer is that we actually have to freeze them flat on a tray. The reason we freeze them flat is so that they don't stick to each other, because once they're fully frozen, you can transfer them to a freezer bag, and then any morning you want, you can just take 1 or 2 out and put them in your toaster and have them, and they taste just like fresh. I like to flip them once because I find that the top stays a little bit frozen because it's like exposed to the air, if that makes sense. So, oh, I know that I'm not supposed to mix this with a whisk. I've made this mistake before. Oh no, it gets stuck in the whisk. I can do this. Hold on. Okay, do not be like me. Do not whisk this batter. It is not whiskable. It is whiskable when it's dry ingredients only. And I know that from past experience, but somehow I forgot. So, hold on again. This is the day of mistakes. Actually, every day is the day of mistakes. But some of mine are just more public than some of yours. So those corn dog mini muffins, I think, ended up making more than 10 dozen. What do you think?
So many.
But they are a hit. I know she has been eating some as we go. I have been eating the ones that don't have hot dogs in them. I think actually I ate them all. There were 4 of them. Did I eat them all? Yeah. Yeah, too bad I can't have any more now. But my husband came down and he had one, and I think he said, what did he say? Like, oh, that one doesn't have a hot dog. Thank you. One more little mini one. He said something like, these are pretty good. And I was like, these are so good. Like, I don't know what you're talking about. These are like amazing. But anyway, then he actually came back for more and was raving about them. So he's gotten the bug too. In case you weren't convinced already to try the corn dog mini muffins, hopefully you now will go and give them a try. So for the buttermilk waffles, I do make them all in one bowl. I mixed together flour, sugar, salt, and baking powder. And then I added to that some lightly beaten eggs, buttermilk, milk, and you can do either melted butter or vegetable oil. Today I did vegetable oil because I had it sitting out from that last recipe. And then you're just going to put this in your waffle maker. I have the best waffle maker. You can find it in our Amazon store. The link for that is in the description box below. It makes 4 waffles at a time, but not only that, they are the size of a piece of bread, so they fit perfectly in your toaster or toaster oven. And that is how I love to have my fancy buttermilk waffle breakfast. The other thing we can do is, while I'm getting the waffles made, I can check on the things in the freezer, like those little yogurt things and our saskatoons, and see what stage we're at and if they're ready to be put in freezer bags. So hopefully we can maximize our time. Here's an issue that can sometimes happen when you're doing a lot of things that need to be flash frozen or, you know, individually frozen, is you can run out of baking sheets. So I had to get this one cleaned. The other ones are being held hostage in my freezer. One of them has saskatoons on it. One of them has the blueberry yogurt things, which I just checked, and they are not ready. They're not frozen enough to transfer yet. And one of them has, I don't know, I don't remember. But I rescued one, and it's gonna get the waffles put on it so that we can flash freeze those and then get those transferred into our freezer bags. This is all coming together really well. I was hoping to do zucchini muffins and rhubarb cake and rhubarb cookies, but like Christy said when she stopped by, the day that started off really cool ended up being 27 degrees Celsius. I'm not sure what that is in Fahrenheit. It's not like unbelievably hot like it was in our heat wave, but it's really quite hot, especially to have the oven on for this many hours. So as soon as those zucchini loaves are done, I'm gonna shut the oven off so that the house can cool down a bit. Even though we cut things a little bit short because of the weather, I still got over 200 servings of snacks in the freezer, which feels really good, and I do feel better set up for next week when my husband's away for 9 days. So thank you for joining me. Let me know in the comments if you have any questions about the recipes or about freezing or freezer meal life in general. I don't know how else to put that. Thanks for being with me today on this backyard and kitchen adventure. Happy cooking.